walk out to the show and fall at your door. We got that info for you. Touchdown on that plane and buy anything. More than just a podcast for you.
Let's flip back to football really quickly. So let's talk the NFC East. Totally awful so far. There's like 5 wins maybe between all 4 teams in the NFC East. And for those of you who don't know, the NFC East is Philadelphia. They're at 2-4-1. It's Dallas. They're at 2-4. It's Washington Football. They're at 1-5, and the New York Giants. They're at 1-6. These are historic NFL franchises. What's going on with these teams? And which one of them has the best chance to win the division?
I used to play with all of them on Tecmo Bowl. Those used to be all my teams, so they had all the best players in Tecmo Bowl back in the day.
You're right about that.
Most of them is really just quarterback situations and quarterback growth. Also, it's they have a lot of them have good players that have left the program. The fact that division is doing the worst out of all divisions, it shows that things change with the draft, man. Things change with the draft. Teams that are not so good become good teams. The Chiefs for a long time was okay. They wasn't great. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Not for them to be on top is awesome, but that division is just horrible. I think the biggest thing is the quarterback situation with all the teams, because it seems like some of those teams are going to end up drafting a quarterback again, and they just drafted a quarterback. So like, it's crazy. It's crazy. What y'all think?
Since I am a Cowboy fan, yes, our division is horrible right now, but it's a point in time we was the best division in football. It's our turn now. You know what I mean?
True.
Like we won Super Bowl 4 years in a row.
True.
5, I think, like back to back to back to back. We own the NFL, so every division goes through lumps. We just taking our lumps now. But at one point, that was the division to be in. So it's like everything. You'll be on top for a minute, then eventually you're going to drop down. We're down right now, but we're on our way back up. It was a couple more years.
You know what? I kind of feel like with that being said and that being understood now, it's like, why not let Tua blow up right now where everything's down? So when they come up, they come up together, because it's not like they have anybody going to win that division, it will be them. You know what I'm saying? Because you say they don't have any, like, I don't know, bro. I think that they have a good chance of winning. Not saying because of Tua, because old boy had good numbers before he got fired. Well, put to the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't a bad quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
But
so I really do.
Though. I mean, he has experience. I mean, that weighs a lot when you got that experience.
Right.
And you can really read the defenses. Hey, I'm not an Alabama fan too. Like I said, he comes from Alabama. He was great in Alabama, but reading NFL defenses and all the different schemes and be able to adjust. Hey, just like I said with Haskins, let him sit a little bit. You're not losing anything. I know you spent money on him, but let him learn a little bit more. If they was losing, I get it, but they're not losing.
I have a question for you. So you don't think Tua is ready? Do you think that what he came out of playing the SEC, right? That everybody he playing against in the NFL right now are most of those guys, right?
It's different.
The wide receivers the wide receivers he throwing to, right? At Alabama are the big time guys right now, right? Maybe I'm wrong.
So you saying Jerry Jeudy is a top receiver in the league right now?
Jerry Jeudy will be one of the top receivers in the league.
I will be, bro. I will be catching a flight soon, bro. That don't mean I ain't gonna get on a wreck on the road going to the airport. We don't go on Will B's. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Look, the dude came out of Louisville, right? Yeah. That played wide receiver at the Dolphins right now. Legit. Was he that a year ago? No. Was he that a year before that? A little bit, getting there. But right now, yeah, he's that guy.
Yeah, he's that guy. I just don't believe in Will B.
I'm just saying. You don't believe in growth?
I'm gonna say
you don't believe in growth?
You don't believe in growth, but I don't believe in the word real B. I don't tell nobody who I mentor that you will be. You're going that way or whatever. Yeah, you could be going that way, but things can happen. If you don't keep working hard, you're not gonna get there. That's just the way I
understand that. Understand that. I understand that.
Hey, also before James had to say something, I think the Cowboys will win the division. I think that they will. It would be a terrible record,
No,
but I think so. I
You
think
I
so.
know,
don't want them to.
like, oh,
I don't want them to. I don't want them to.
why?
I want them to keep. Think
He
about
want
why
to get a
don't I
draft
want
pick. He want a draft pick.
them? I'm trying to move to Texas.
He want a
Well,
draft
there you
pick.
go.
Oh, you trying to? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's real
Hey,
selfish.
coach. I caught
Real
that. I caught
selfish
that
right
when you
there.
first came out.
Yeah,
That's
that's
real
crazy.
selfish right there. Okay, then I'm gonna say that I think I agree with Randy that it's some serious QB issues, but like for other than Dallas, because Dallas always knows who they are, America's team. The rest of them, I don't even think they know who they are. Like, like really, I don't even think they, for the first time, like we already know Washington doesn't know who they are because just they don't, and they have it for a long time. So many off the field things with Washington, not just the name change, but there's some sexual harassment, sexual assault allegations from the owner down, which is kind of like, I don't know that you can be effective as how can you? I just don't think that these teams have like any kind of identity. Part of it maybe it's expecting too much of new players, not developing them appropriately before you put them into roles. I think for me, Washington has been on a downslide since they jacked up RG3 in that 1 year when they brought him back too soon.
Good
Like
point.
Philly, I think they want Carson Wentz to be the guy. And I like Carson Wentz. Don't get me wrong. Love him, love his story, but I don't really think that he's actually the guy. Um, could be mental, because let's just be honest, North Dakota State is a phenomenal program for their league, but they're not playing a Power Five schools. And mentally, there's a different level of preparation when you
Facts.
have to play premier. So I think he's got talent. Like I said, love Carson Wentz, love his story, really rooting for him. But I think his college experience doesn't really help him from a mental perspective when he's in the pros because there's a level of preparation that he's missed. Don't shoot me, but that's just how I feel. And I'm
That's
with,
true.
and even though you don't like it, Coach Parson, I think Dallas is going to be Dallas, and they'll
Hmm.
probably win a couple of more games down the stretch, and they'll win the division.
I think so.
And stop the
Mm-mm.
run. Watch
I
the
mean,
day. Watch the day. Gibson might run for 150. It's crazy.
You know how they roll. Dallas, my family, they love, 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 love the Cowboys. Every year, y'all are going to the Super Bowl, like every
I,
year.
on paper, it always looks good.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
last question for today. In light of the Dallas discussion, should NFL owners be GMs, or should they function as GMs? Should NFL coaches be GMs? Or should each person in each organization just have one role? If you're going to be the coach, be the coach. If you're going to be the GM, be the GM. If you're going to be the owner, be the owner. Thoughts?
They should
I
have one
feel.
role. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, I just feel like everybody should have a role, but at the same time, you can have a little input, but that guy above you still makes the final decision. Because when you carry more than one hat, it doesn't seem to work very well. Because you make some decisions, they back you up. Then if it don't work, then you out. You know what I mean? Look at the Texans. He had two hats. He made some decisions he thought was going to be best for the team. It didn't work out. Now he don't got no job. So I just feel
Hmm.
like everybody hold their own and just have your little input. If they back you, they back you. At least my input. But if that guy agrees with it, then I still have my job. But if I'm making a final decision, then my job's on the line too. As if everybody just hold their own, we'd be all right.
It all falls on the owner and the way he puts things in place. A lot of times, a lot of the owners want, more of a say so in decisions that they shouldn't necessarily be making, and they haven't did the research to make, but they have their own opinion, the decision to do. So it all falls on the owner. But I think everybody should do their own job. But when you look at it, even in the military, man, like the strongest person in that chain of command whether it's the COXO or the highest enlisted person, that's the person that's going to make most of the decisions because of their attitude, their character, and their outspokenness. And that's kind of what happens here. A lot of people just go outside of the boundaries of their job, and that doesn't make it better because of the fact they're not doing the job. They're not doing the information, the research to make those decisions. And in that case, if everybody played their role, that case it would be easier to fire somebody because you could say you're not doing your job. I gave you the
I
leeway
feel
to
that.
do your job, and you're not doing it. So that's I think everybody should be in their place. I think.
I definitely agree that everyone should have their own roles. I think some owners, let me not say this. Let me say, I think Jerry Jones specifically, he,
Mm-hmm.
I get it, it's your team. But the fact that he won't just act like an owner
Mm-hmm.
hurts the Cowboys and has been hurting the Cowboys since they let Jimmy Johnson go. Like
Mm-hmm.
a smart owner says, I know my role. My role is to make deals so that we achieve the maximum amount of revenue. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't pick personnel. I'm not good. I might not be good at picking the coach. Definitely not good at picking. I'm just saying, might not be good at picking the coach. Definitely shouldn't be picking the day-to-day teams. Shouldn't be running like just look. My family's like they're huge Cowboys fans. I just think that like he had a moment like after him and Jimmy Johnson got into it because like the thought process would be Jimmy Johnson would be the first coach to win a national championship in college and in the pros, and they clashed because Jimmy Johnson, he was a coach who knew what he wanted. And then you have an owner that said, well, fine, I don't care, I don't need you, I can do it all. And no, you can't do it all, dog. You can't. Look at what happened to the Cowboys since then. Like Jason Garrett, they should have got rid of him years and years and years ago. Like a
Mm-hmm.
long time ago. And some of the investments that he makes, like, can you not? Greg Hardy, for why? Like, why? And Dallas isn't even my favorite team, but my family loves them. So I just look at that and I'm like, the most successful NFL franchises, like look at the Miami Dolphins 72 team that went undefeated and ran the Super Bowl. The owner was not the GM. The GM was not the coach. Look at the actual Patriots. Robert Kraft has never tried to come in. Like
Right.
success is when people say, this is my role. Let me figure out what I need to do it well. And this is not my role. And I think that for those programs where owners act like GMs, it's because they're arrogant and they don't know their role.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that
we
I
should have
think
still
that
had
you
Jimmy Johnson.
yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. I really do feel like everybody should play their role, and just really the Patriots are a model situation in every aspect of the program. Like, period. Whether it comes to owner, the coaches, even the coaches up under him. Some of them have gone and got their own teams and going to college and stuff like that, So I really do believe that that's the model you're supposed to follow when it comes to being a football team. Is you got your own, everybody got their own spot to take care of, and just help them become the best they can be so y'all can have long term win. The Patriots won so many dang on games. It's crazy. They're doing
Mm-hmm.
something right.
And think about this, you guys are Miami fans. So Miami was so good, that 72 team, at people knowing their roles. The scout from that team is Bobby Beathard. Bobby Beathard is the prototype of what an NFL GM should be. He went to Washington. Washington has a history of being a really well-run franchise. He found Doug Williams, even though he knew that he was a talent scout. When he went as GM, he didn't try to do what he did before. And Washington was extremely successful when they had Doug Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely successful. Then he
True.
went to the San Diego Chargers, and then he found Junior Seau. Like this, like there's pieces, like I'm like, know your role. Their success leaves clues. And in the NFL, that 72 Miami Dolphins team, the teams from early in the 80s and 90s where Washington was in Doug Williams, the Patriots now, like the most successful teams do not have people trying to wear two hats.
Welcome
They
to
Right.
the
just
show. And for
questions, comments, thoughts.
we got that info
Good.
for you.
we're gonna wrap it up. That is our time, people. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the 10-4 YouTube show. We'll see you all next week.